Distinguished guests, Kiwanis, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kiwanis Club of Kingsport's 2026 Kingsport School Board Education Candidate Forum. Now, Kiwanians value our strong heritage and commitment to civic responsibility and to the mission of serving our community, one child and one community at a time, as we unite worldwide in serving the children of the world. Therefore, today's forum is particularly important to us. I'm Mary Lee Davis, and it is my pleasure to serve as moderator for today's forum. The guidelines for our forum will be as follows. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to make an introductory statement, 2 minutes to respond to each of the forum questions, and then 2 minutes for a closing statement. The other candidate, Brandon Fletcher, had an unexpected emergency conflict. Ladies and gentlemen, putting one's name on a ballot and participating in a forum takes courage, and participating keeps the deep love for this community. Let's give our candidates a quick round of applause for their willingness to serve and to join us today. Our forum is about clarity. Our goal is to give these candidates a platform to share their vision and to give you, the voters, the information you need to make an informed choice for the Kingsport City Schools. And we will begin with opening statements from the candidates.
So like she said, I'm Sarah Cassidy. I'm running for school board. This is something I don't take very lightly. I prayed about it a lot, and like I do when I do anything, and I just felt it was the way the Lord was leading. So I just want to serve in my community, serve when I can. Education's always been a really big part of my life. My mother taught school for 36 years before she retired, and she's even went back to teaching mom days out at our church right now. So I know how much dedication it takes to be a teacher, how much time it takes, and how much of their personal finances it also takes, because she spent a lot of her money, as many teachers do, on their own classrooms to get what they need. I'm now a mom myself. I have a 12 and a 13-year-old, both go to Ralston Robinson, where I'm also serving as the vice president of the PTA. I'm also a small business owner in the community. I stay really busy, but I do stay really involved. As a PTA vice president, I hear a lot from teachers. I like to assist them and listen to them, and I also hear a lot from parents. At the end of the day, this is all about our kids. Our kids are the most important part of all this. Every decision we make should be on what's best for them, how we best support them, and how we get them to succeed. I'm not a politician. I don't plan to be a politician. I just want to help out where I can. I want to serve where I can and help out our community. I will show up. I will listen. And if you're looking for someone who will put your kids first, that's what I'm here to do. Mr.
Thank you. My name is Derek Browder. I'm not a speaker. I don't do audience well, but if you ever come to my barbershop, I'm one-on-one with anybody, able to talk to them individually. That being said, I am a United States Marine Corps veteran. I am also, like I said, the small business owner. I have a wife. We got 2 wonderful kids. One is currently at LMU. One is an 8th grader. I graduated from Sullivan North. I am a county kid. I've lived inside the city limits since 1990, when the city annexed us. I was already at Sullivan. I was going to Sullivan North, where all my friends was there. I chose to stay at Sullivan North. That may be a negative. That may not be a negative. I went with my friends. I've been at Riverside Avenue Baptist Church. If anybody knows where that's at, it's right beside Model City Apartments, over in the Roosevelt community. That community is not the greatest money-making community. I've been the deacon there. I am the Sunday school teacher. I've made sure we have our vacation Bible school the first week after school is out for one reason. There is a week there that there is no food for a lot of these kids. We provide the full meal at Vacation Bible School. Instead of cookies and Kool-Aid, what we used to get, it's a full meal. We make sure they have their nutrition. They make sure we have the food. That, I'm also a Scoutmaster. Troop 633 with Trail Life. I've got 15 seconds. I am also Linview Pee Wee football president. I've been there 27 years. And with that, it is my pleasure to be here with you guys today. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here this afternoon. I think it's important for you to know a little bit about my background, and you'll understand why I want to continue to serve on the Board of Education. I come from a very modest home in Carter County where, due to no fault of their own, neither of my parents had the opportunity to graduate high school. Our family was built on love, on treating others the way you want to be treated, and on faith. My parents had a strong emphasis on education. And because of their support and the investment of countless others, Kiwanians included, I graduated first in my high school class. I also graduated as an honors graduate from Milligan University, making me the first generation college graduate on both my mother and my father's side. My journey to Kingsport came over 3 decades ago. I came to work at Eastman as an accountant. My husband John and I have been married for almost 33 years. We have 3 kids who are all KCS graduates, and I can tell you their academic experience was nothing short of spectacular. Their extracurricular activities provided opportunities on a national level that most times is not accessible to high school students. They were prepared for their next steps. They are thriving in their chosen career fields. And I can tell you, John and I can't thank you enough for the investment in our kids. The reason I'm wanting to continue to run is the same reason I ran to begin with. I believe in the power of education. Education changed the entire trajectory of my life, and not just my life, but the lives of my kids and generations to come. But we've made significant improvements in the last 4 years or so. But as long as every child is not reading proficiently or every student knows their next steps, there's still work to be done. I'm Melissa Woods, and I'm committed to Kingsport.
Thank you, candidates. We will alternate the beginning speaker for each question in order to provide each candidate an opportunity to answer first. And we will begin our questioning with Derek. Excuse me. What do you see as the top 3 most urgent issues facing the Kingsport City Schools today? And what specific actions would you take to address them?
The 3 things that Kingsport City Schools is facing. We have been announced that we're fixing to spend $60 million on a new school. That's a significant investment to our programs, to our community over there. Second, we would have to say is what is happening at our schools. What is happening at our schools sometimes you got to say. We look at our programs. If you ever go to a Board of Education meeting, I've been here to the last 5, 6. We are giving our teachers and our principals awards. We have yet to give kids awards. We have kids that are struggling in schools, in education. We need to make sure that they understand that we are there for them. That's the 2 major ones that I can think of. The other one, I'd have to come off and just grab off top of my thoughts, and I don't have 30 But what programs are we handing out that we might be able to help our community that doesn't have what we need? Sometimes they come home with a little black bag. Sometimes they don't. If anybody knows what that little black bag is, my son was happy to get it when he was at Roosevelt. He had no clue what that bag meant. But you know what? There was a kid there that needed it. And at that point, we had to have a conversation with the principal and said, hey, look, if you don't mind, let that other kid that needs it have it first. Even though my son was happy about getting it because it was a little black bag.
Okay, so the top 3 priorities for me, unfortunately, first and foremost, is funding. And funding is at the foundation of everything. Our schools currently, we've taken some hits, and you've heard from the mayoral candidates last week that monies had been siphoned away from education from our county commission, and they have both promised that those monies would be reinstated. But we have to have our schools fully funded to be able to meet the needs of our students. We have students with disabilities, with unique learning needs. We want to continue the amazing programs that we have. Things like AP courses. We had over 500 students take over 1,000 AP exams last year. The pass rate of 88%. It's incredible. That's an amazing amount. We have 500 students that are participating in career and technical education. They earned 1,299 industry certifications. We are gold level for CTE in this area. But we also have different programs like work-based learning programs where students can go out and be in the community, partnering with our communities and learning, is this really what I want to do for the next 50 years? Or maybe this is not what I want to do at all. And then we have transition school to work programs where our students with the most unique learning needs have the opportunity to, again, go out with community partners and have a meaningful career that maybe they might not have been able to have. Funding is at the base of all that. I think it's important too that we compensate our people. Our teachers and educators are rock stars. They're being recognized because of the hard work that's going on in their buildings every single day. I think it's important for that. And then I think that more than anything, we need as a community to come together and to support our schools. Education is critical. Without a quality education system, our city is not going to grow. And we just don't want to thrive. We want to thrive.
One of my biggest issues, I guess, with the schools right now is how the tests are being taught. We are teaching to the test. We're not looking at individual students' needs. We're so concerned and so worried about what those test scores are, because that's where we get our money, that we're not looking at what the little kids need and what the students need. It's to the point where, and I have kids in school, so I know I'm seeing this every time. We have a little neighbor girl that my daughter's best friend, always at our house, but during TCAPs, during benchmarks, she can't come over. Her stomach's upset. She's physically ill because she's so concerned about these tests. They really stress the kids out. And I think, yes, they do. We do get funding from the state. If we do better on the test, we get all this. But we need to quit focusing on that and focus on these kids, and that'll come with the focus on the kids. We need to focus on how education can be generalized instead of looking at this is science, science does this is math, math does this. Put them together. How do they help each other? How do they focus together? And quit teaching just to one specific thing. Quit teaching to the test. I do love our schools. I love the Kingsport community. I think we have amazing schools. If I didn't, my kids would be homeschooled because I'm very particular about how they're taught. And they were homeschooled for several years, but then I saw how great the Kingsport school was, and I put them in school. I do think we need to focus on kids' individual learning needs. Not all kids go to college. Not all kids want to go to college. Some kids want to do trades. Some kids want to be entrepreneurs. I think we should work more with our community, with our business owners, bringing them in, offering kids internships with them in high school. I think that would be a great place to start. And freshmen in high school, get them started early, get them learning how to be, get them learning how they can grow in our community and how they can be a part of our community once they graduate and even before they graduate. Sorry, my time's up. Thank you.
Again, regarding the plans for our 2 new elementary schools, what are your primary positive takeaways? And what are your main concerns?
Well, I can tell you that I'm so excited about the potential for these 2 new elementary schools. One of the goals in Kingsport City Schools is to have an equitable learning environment for every single student. And some of our schools are very old. The average age is well over 70 years old of our facilities. And so the classroom size is not appropriate for what is recommended for square foot per pupil, basically. And so having these new elementary schools, 750 student elementary schools, one thing, they'll be state-of-the-art technologies. They'll provide room that we can have additional pre-K programs so that we're giving those kids a jump start on their education and really getting them prepared. You would be amazed at the number of students who come to our schools and have never held a crayon. They don't know a letter or a number. Some of them aren't even potty trained. That's very different than when you and I were in school. And so we need those facilities to really, it's part of rejuvenating the Lynn Garden community. Can you imagine a brand new school there, families moving into the area, wanting their students to be a part of that? I think I'm so excited. I could talk all day about it. But one of the issues is being able to provide the funds for that. We have an amazing relationship with our city government. They're proud of our schools. They want our schools to be successful because they know how important it is to have quality schools. So we're working together to try to get the funding in place for the school in Lynn Garden first, and then the other school would be at where the Tribe Athletic Complex is, where we've had the renovations there, and that would be our other school. It would also give us the opportunity to maybe implement like our DBXL program. We would be able to do that on the middle school level. Again, making unique learning pathways for every single student. And I can promise you, we do that now.
So I learned about the new school recently when the superintendent came to our PTA meeting and discussed it with us, and I was pretty excited about what he had to say. I think it's a great idea. I don't know what's going to happen with the school buildings that are already in place. I know Roosevelt's one that'll be going to Lynn Garden, and Roosevelt's a great building. It's a great piece of land. It's a great school. I did find out that is not something we could sell and help fund this because it is part of the city and it's not part of the school. But I do think it's a great idea. Being, like Ms. Wood said, being state of the art is amazing, and I hope it does revive the Lynn Garden community. Just from being someone that lives near that area, I would when I first heard it was going in there, I was kind of nervous because I don't think it's a great area to be right now. So I think it would be wonderful. It's something that could come in, revive the community, and help these students get the education that they need at such a young age.
It's great that they talk about Lynn Garden community. $60 million, as I already said. But reason I actually started to pull my petition. Lynn Garden is my home. Lynn Garden is where I was raised. The ball fields is where I am. Part of me. That being said, it's a great opportunity for Lynn Garden. It's a great opportunity for our students. The question I would have on that is the proposal is 750 students. If you take the Roosevelt students, if you take the John F. Kennedy students, how many students is that? That's really close to 700 to 750. The school's going to be maxed out. We was told from the beginning that they're not expecting the growth for the schools. Do we need to expand that school's horizon? Do we need to expand that for education growth ability? 2031 is the proposed second school, Sullivan North. We have heard many rumors of what Sullivan North High School is going to be. Now it's called Tribe Athletic Complex. What is it going to be? Will it happen as a new elementary school? We have to come up with what's going on. We have to be informed with it. That is why I've been going to the city school board meetings to ask questions. Most of the time, My questions are not answered. I am Derek Browder. That's why I'm here for Lynn Garden.
Rezoning and Jefferson Elementary. Rezoning is a major point of anxiety for families. As a board member, how would you see balancing the logistical needs of the new elementary schools with neighborhood stability, particularly regarding the impact on Jefferson Elementary?
Rezoning, I think you talked about earlier when you were rezoned and you chose to stay. I think that's an important thing if it's able to be done. If they're able to choose to stay, the parents can choose to stay where they are, or if they have to send their kids to the other school. And I think talking again about how much of a burden is this going to put on the new school if we're having so many flood into there that it's already outgrown before we even get them there. And then also looking at what's going to happen with Jefferson. Is it going to die down, or is it going to be filled with other people from another zone? And I don't know the answers to this. This is something that I would have to really research and look at, but I do worry about building another school and looking at another school where you're already getting so many schools combined together to come to it, and it already being too small before we even have time for expansion. Because we know Kingsport is a place that a lot of people want to live. It's a great place, and people flood in here all the time, me included. I'm originally from Louisiana, and I fell in love with Kingsport and moved here many, many years ago. So I think we should look at, when we're looking at the zoning, looking at how many we can take in and make sure that the school is going to be built to have not at capacity once we start with the school.
Rezoning is definitely a complicated matter. You're taking kids that have grown up, maybe if they're a fifth grader, they've been together. Fifth grade would be their 6th year together, and you're taking them away. That is hard to do. And a lot of times that is hard to take a kid away from a group of friends. We all know as friendships grow, some of your best friends started in some of your lower grades. One of my best friends started when we was in kindergarten. He's now my financial management advisor. He's Edward Jones, where I depend on him to maybe someday retire. Another one of my great friends I met in high school, freshman year. To this day, we still have strong. How can we handle this rezoning? This is very complicated, as we have said. It is not an easy done. It is not easy fix. Even on the Board of Education, Kingsport Mayor and Alderman meeting of the work session for this new school, one alderman spoke out and said, "What about the rezoning?" The one alderman was talking about an apartment complex in front of the school that his daughter goes to. And he wanted to know, what are we going to do? Even to that day, the alderman had no clue. His question was, what about my child? We don't want to uproot. I wouldn't want to uproot any kid and say, you have to go to this place or you have to go to this new school if all your friends are going here. That will be a very tricky situation. And as Board of Education, it's going to be a hard press sometimes to do it. And we will make somebody angry over that.
Well, in education, rezoning is kind of a four-letter word, to be perfectly honest. But I can promise you, we have professionals, it's in our education system as well, partnering with the city.
Yes.
We work on this all the time. We're not surprised by this. We are anticipating what rezoning looks like. There's no need to announce potential rezoning. That only makes people nervous and gets them excited for something that may never happen. So acting responsibly, we are always working on what will the zones look like. As far as the school in Lynn Garden, that will be an adjustment, not just Kennedy and Roosevelt. Some of those students will end up at Washington. Some of the students may be going somewhere different. It's going to affect a lot of different schools. But currently the enrollment in Kennedy and Roosevelt, unless I'm grossly mistaken, is less than 600 students. So we have more than enough capacity in that school if we took every single student from those two schools. That is not exactly how it will happen. Jefferson is an amazing school. My kids went there. Jefferson will always be a great school. We want every single one of our schools to be great schools. And that is one of the reasons for the push to have these new facilities so that we are giving every student in our district an equitable environment in which to learn. Students would be grandfathered in. You know, if they have siblings that are come along, we're going to work with families. We know rezoning is not popular. We also don't want, like I said, to get the cart before the horse. We're just now moving dirt. There's no reason to publish anticipated rezoning when things can happen, when growth can change. So I can promise you, we are not ignoring this. We look at it consistently, and we have professionals who do this every week. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is dealing with third grade reading proficiency, a subject that I would anticipate most people in this room have heard or know a good deal about this. Third grade reading proficiency is a critical milestone for children. What policies or resource shifts would you champion to help ensure that every child is reading at grade level by the end of third grade?
Well, I can tell you we have made significant gains since 2021. We currently have shifted in rankings, third grade reading from 45 in 2021 to now we're ranked 28th in a state of 147 districts. We take this very seriously. We are really focused in on third grade reading because we know that is an indicator for future learning success. We have intentionally re-emphasized our focus on K through 2 because it's too late to wait until third grade. Every student has a unique individual learning plan that our teachers are going over. They have collaboratives with other teachers, with their administrators, even with district level personnel to make sure student A is here. We see these gaps based on assessments and what can we do to get student A up here. We've had significant growth. We have right now 49.6% of our third graders proficient, and the very next level is approaching. 33% of our kids are almost there. That would put us over 80% proficient. That's incredible. Our teachers are rock stars. They're working so hard every single day to make sure that every single student has an opportunity to succeed.
So as a mother of a child with dyslexia, I will say that the Kingsport City School System does an amazing job of making sure that the kids get the specialized needs met when they're trying to learn to read. My daughter has struggled with this from her entire life. When she was 4 years old, I did pre-K at home with her, and she told me she couldn't see the letters. And took her, she ended up needing glasses. We had such a hard time trying to help her read at home. That's when I ended up enrolling her in school. She went to Washington Elementary, and they did such a wonderful job taking time with her, helping her. And while dyslexia is not recognized in the state of Tennessee, they still helped. They helped her. That's what I was told by Washington. I see faces looking really shocked, but they said it's not recognized as a diagnosis in the special. She does have an IEP. She does have a 504, but she's just has a lot of trouble reading. She's in 6th grade now, and she cannot read very well at all. But the teachers work really hard with her. They work with me. We have the meetings. She's improving every time. She's not staying steady. She is improving, but it is embarrassing for her when she's in class and they want her to read. So I do appreciate the teachers not doing that as much as they used to. And they tell me that they don't do that. They put her with strong readers to help her. It's just such a collaborative thing between the teachers, the parents, the administration. I can't say enough good things about how they help the children learn to read in the 3rd grade. The program that they have going right now, I think, is phenomenal.
I too am a father of a dyslexic son. That being said, we can make him read all day long, and it doesn't help. You can force him to read. It doesn't help. Individual, little bit, small by small. You can get him a little here, a little there. What can we do with that? It is a disease. It is something that needs to be recognized. At Roosevelt, our second school in the city of Kingsport for him, they took time. And Mrs. Walters and her assistant took time and said, you don't know how to do it yet, but you will. And every last one of the teachers, I will have to say, that has worked with him, has worked great with him. So what can we do? We need to tighten our belts a little bit. We need to figure out what is causing the different disabilities, as we'll call them. And we need to work with them. We need specialized teachers that know more about it. The dyslexia is hard to teach. Dyslexia is hard to understand. If you got a teacher that don't understand, they'll just push you to the next side. During COVID, that's what my son was second grade. That's what the teacher was doing. All these hands was going up. Well, the same three students always got called on and said, yes, this one, yes, that one, yes, that one. But we need teachers that care a little bit more and knows the diagnosis and understands what it is.
State vouchers is our next area. State leadership has prepared expanding school vouchers. What impact do you believe this expansion would have on the Kingsport City schools? And what would be your message to state legislators on this issue?
I've actually been looking at this a lot lately, and I was torn when I first read about it and started researching. So the state vouchers, you're talking about the charter vouchers that would pay for charter schools and private schools, right? Okay. So looking at that, at first I was like, no, all the money needs to go to the public school because that's what it's for. That's the tax money. And then you look at the other side of it where you take these kids that do have special needs, that need a different environment, that are not in the schools they need to be in, and they get the money and the opportunity to go to a private school that may be more fitting for their needs. So on that side of it, I'm looking at we're helping the individual child. We're not looking at everyone as a big group, and I think we should help the individual child. That's kind of what I focused on. That being said, I believe Kingsport City Schools, again, are phenomenal. I love them. I think they're the best education. I think the teachers are amazing. The administration is amazing. And they really care about the students. So I fall on the side of not giving our tax dollars to the private schools or to the charter schools. I fall on the side of the money going into our schools and making our public schools a better place. And we can see where the individual needs are with each student. And I think we do a great job of doing that already, and just making our schools a better place to be.
That's where our state dollars needs to go. Our state dollars need to go to our students. That being said, do we need to farm it out to another school that's doing better? If we lived in the county, would we pay the extra tax money to go to the city? Because if you're a county resident, you have to pay extra because you don't pay for it. As a city residents, we pay for the city schools. For the tax money of the state coming to us, do we have the right to choose where our tax money goes? That is not going to be a popular decision. No matter which way, either the state files, whoever the state of Tennessee makes, it is not going to be popular. As a city of Kingsport resident, our city of Kingsport tax dollars should be funding our schools. As a Sullivan County resident, yes, Sullivan County also funds our school for the city of Kingsport, so percentage-wise. That being said, we should not allow our tax dollars for the state to go to a private funded school. Because if you choose a private funded school, that's your choice. That being said, we need to make sure our kids with disabilities, without disabilities, our kids that are going to make A's no matter what, our kids that are going to make B's no matter what, and we even got kids that are going to make C's and D's. We're going to have to help them the best that we can. And where the tax money goes is where we need it, in our own community with our own kids.
Well, unless you've been away for a few years, you have seen me publicly advocating for our public schools. I've been the legislative liaison for the past 4 years. I have advocated against vouchers, and I'll tell you why. I believe in parent choice. I think parents have the right to choose where their kids go to school. I don't believe taxpayer funds should be aligned with those choices. My parents chose to send me to a school out of district. And I can promise you, to this day, I don't know how they raked and scraped up enough money to pay tuition for me to go to a different school, but they did it because that was important to them. My issue with vouchers, it's not about parent choice. It's that it is not a level playing field. We don't pick and choose our team. We're going to love and support and educate every single student that walks through our doors. Private schools don't have to do that. I have example after example where they wouldn't even take siblings because one was a well-achieving student and the other one had disabilities. So they wouldn't take, we'll take him, not him. The state mandate standards aren't the same. We are required to teach certain standards. Private schools don't have those standards. They're not required to teach. They're not even required to show proof of licensed teachers. And also behavioral issues, attendance. We have standards that we have to abide by. We have rules that we have to apply by that are state assessed. And if you don't like those state things, then you talk to your legislators. But we're going to comply with the law. They don't take the same assessments. They don't take TCAPs. They don't have to take end of course exams, etc. There's no way to compare the two. Both are fruit. They're both educating kids, but they're apples and oranges. And I just can't get behind sending much needed public dollars to schools that it's been proven that 65% of those taking vouchers, it was already estimated they would already have been enrolled in private schools. So I can't get on board with that.
Thank you, candidates. While 6 Kingsport city schools, including Dobbins-Bennett, received an A on the state report card, others did not. As a board member, how would you support administrators and teachers in closing the gaps to lift every Kingsport school to an A status?
Closing the gaps. We got to find the gaps first, and we have to figure out what we need done. So first of all, Kingsport City does not recognize dyslexia. We have to make sure that they say, this is how it is. If we have a kid with dyslexia, how do you find out he has dyslexia? Kingsport City Schools will not diagnose it. You must go to ETSU. That being said, it has to be done. You've got to find out what the problem is, where the situation is, before you can fix a problem. That being said, once you find the problem out, then that's when you have to make sure the teacher that's receiving this student for the next year, it's follow the year. They should be allowed, they should be figuring out what class is this kid's going to, what teacher is this kid going to. They need to make sure that this teacher is equipped enough to find out. That being said, we need a little bit more education on our teachers' point. That don't sound great. That don't sound fair. A lot of teachers are gonna have a conniption fit. But we've got to find out what our kids needs today. And what our kids needs is the best opportunity that they can have.
Well, I can tell you that 66% of our educators have advanced degrees. They are well informed. They cannot, as a licensed professional, diagnose dyslexia per se, but they can recommend to the parent, you need a professional that is licensed in this area to assess your student, and then we'll take it from there. So I know that happens. I had a niece that the parents were resistant to having her assessed, and once the assessment came, she took off, because then the individual learning plan could be tailored specifically for that student. We do that every day, all day. As far as, closing the gaps. So right now, we have 6 schools that have a letter grade of A. That is a combination of significant growth and significant proficiency. We have 4 that are a letter B, and they're knocking on the door to letter A. So we are well on our way to having every school as a level A reward school. We have the best superintendent in the state, bar none. His compassion, his competence it's unmatched. And I can promise you, he will not be satisfied, nor will our administrators or our educators, and quite frankly, our students, until every school is recognized as a reward school. But we are well on our way. I'm so excited.
Well, I think I've made it pretty clear that I am a fan of Kingsport City Schools, and I think we are doing amazing. As far as gaps, I don't know exactly how these are graded or how they come out with A's, but what I would do as a board member is just listen to the administration, listen to the superintendent, listen to the principals, the teachers, and see what's needed. And the most important thing is to listen to the kids, to the students, to the parents, so they can let us know what they think is needed. And that's why I wanted to run for this, why I want to do this. I just want to be someone that can help out in the community and lend a listening ear and pursue whatever needs to be done when it needs to be done.
This question is regarding NIL, name, image, likeness. NIL deals with what is a reality in the state of Tennessee, high school athletics. How should Kingsport City Schools navigate this landscape to ensure fairness, teamwork, and competitive integrity?
Well, my outfit today is a nod to the Tennessee Vols. I'm a huge college sports fan. I'm a huge Dobbins Bennett Indians fan. If you see the crazy lady in maroon yelling, that's potentially me. I really believe in extracurricular activities, athletics being one of those. I think a lot of times that's the glue that holds students to academics. And so we want to make sure we are including that in educating the entire student. With that being said, personally, I feel like NIL has ruined college sports. I do not want to see that land in our laps. Unfortunately, recently the TSSAA implemented a transfer rule where a student can transfer one time without any type of penalty. They don't have to sit out a year or anything. What are we teaching our kids? What are we teaching our collegiate athletes? They're going where the money is. Most of them are not, I shouldn't say most, I don't know that for a fact, but I would say a good number of them are never graduating because they jump from one school to the other and they're not getting enough credits to graduate. What happens when the money runs out? Athletics in high school need to be about not just playing the game, but our coaches are not just wanting to win, they're wanting to grow young women and young men to be better young women and young men. I think it has no place in our sports, and I hope it doesn't come. Unfortunately, we will abide by the law, which says they can transfer without penalty 1 year. And I understand sometimes things happen, maybe there's a disagreement, but I think we need to teach our kids to be loyal, to realize that there's going to be adversity in everywhere they go. They're not going to always like their boss. They're not going to always like the people they work with. But you've got to learn, that's part of growing and learning, is you've got to be able to deal with that type of adversity.
I honestly couldn't have said it better, Ms. Woods. That was perfect. I completely agree, 100%, everything she said. NIL has no place in our high schools, definitely. I don't have much else to add to that. You did great.
I would never agree with Melissa, but she's right. I started it out telling you I was with the Lynn View Pee Wee football for 25 years. There's times for it, there's times against it. NIL has ruined college football. We would be down at UT Neyland Stadium on a regular basis. Here lately, 2 and 3 games a year. That's about it. It's not what we grew up as kids. All of us out here right now, it's not that college football is not what we grew up as. It's not what we want. If we can make Dobyns-Bennett, the College of Dobyns-Bennett high school team, what fun would that be to go see a game? Luckily, 9 of our seniors this past year, I had privileges coaching on Dobyns-Bennett teams. What would it have done different if it was an NIL deal? I'll tell you, I had 2 kids that was at Science Hill. They did not go to Science Hill for any kind of money. Let me make sure that it was family tradition. They just happened to be part of our Lincoln Garden Community League. NIL, once like Miss Melissa said, has no place in high school. But if it's there, if the ability's there, we have to take advantage of it.
Work, study, and play, and CTE. Kingsport's educational legacy is built on work, study, play. While Dobyns-Bennett is highly regarded, where do you see room for improvement in career technical education, CTE, and in extracurricular areas?
So, again, love Kingsport. I think, and this may not be what you were talking about, but I just love the DBXL program and how that helps. Is that kind of where we were going? Sorry. But I love that program. I think it's great because it has such just focused things for the children that need it. And we went in there and viewed it the other day, and I thought that is so great for kids that need hands-on experience and hands-on working in different things. And like I said earlier, I think Kingsport does a great job at this already. I think we're already doing a great job at it. I would just want to support and keep it going. If there was anything that was brought up, well, we need to have something extra, I think that's something to look into. But I think Kingsport does a great job with all its extracurriculars right now, with all its sports, and not just sports, but other programs. Their theater program is amazing. Of course, the band is the best ever. And I think we do a great job with this already. So I don't really know of any room for improvement, but if there is and someone brought it up, I would definitely look into it.
Career technical. Career technical is great because as a barber, that is not a college education degree. It is a career technical degree. That's what I do. I've got a son, like I said, he wants to be a mechanic right now. He's been wanting to be a truck driver sometimes. I would highly not recommend him being in high school, having a high school truck driving class, just to make sure y'all understand that. I don't think it's going to go very well because it's above his skill. Today, he backed up one of my trailers. My wife was having a conniption fit, she said. But he can do it. Career technical. That's where we need to concentrate on a lot because, a lot of kids are not going to college. And when they don't go to college, and from what I have understand and what I've talked to a lot of my young customers that come in, we have a great career technical over at Dobyns-Bennett. We've got a great hairstylist program over there. I don't think they have the barber school. I think I think Westridge, do they have a barber school? Okay. I knew Westridge had one, but I did not know about DB. But they have a great cosmetologist school. And you know the greatest part about cosmetologists? Sometimes, as that program is doing, we got a junior ROTC with the Air Force. And you know what? They've got to have inspection haircuts. So guess what? For the parents that can't afford it, they've got two options. Option number one is go to the cosmetologist or the barber program, or the former colonel would also sometimes say, well, if you don't want to go to Derek. Go to Derek's barbershop and tell him I sent you.
Well, just like our superintendent is the best, bar none, our director of career and technical education, Dr. Bo Shadden, is absolutely amazing. As far as improvement opportunities, I can tell you where we've been, and we won't slow down. In 2021, we had 528 students taking AP exams. They took 1,063 exams. In 21, they were taking 421 students taking 853 exams. Now we had last year 528 AP students taking 1,063 AP exams. Again, pass rate of 63. We have 500 students involved in our career and technical education. They have earned last year 1,299 industry certifications. That's an amazing accomplishment. Our graduation rate is 96.7. We won't be happy until it's 100%. All those things have opportunities to grow. It takes appropriate funding, and it takes recruiting and retaining the appropriate personnel. But we're not going to slow down until we can make a slot for every student. Our career and technical education, we've actually moved the exposure to career and technical education down into our middle schools. We don't want students to wait until they're junior in high school and have blown through a couple of years and think, gosh, I wish I'd have checked out that welding program, et cetera, et cetera. Every year we have students who are graduating from Northeast State Community College before they ever walk across the stage at J. Fred Johnson. That's amazing. It's amazing. We have kids who are graduating with 40, 50, in excess of 60 college credits, well on their way. College isn't for everybody. We know that. That's why we continue to expand this career technical education program, and also continue to expand our transition school to work program for our students with specific disabilities.
At this point, we welcome our candidates' closing statements, beginning with Sarah.
Thank y'all for having us here today. Thank the Kiwanis Clubs for everything that you do for our children. I thank you for all volunteering your time and everything that you've done for us. As far as for school board, again, I just want to be a voice for the children, a voice for the parents, and a voice for the teachers.
Yes to the Kiwanis Club. Thank you for allowing us to be here. Yes. Thank you for letting us stand up here. We have educators here. We have our mayor here. We have a few aldermen, vice mayor here. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you for just giving us just a second to say a few words. That being said, my wife is here with me. She was my plus one. She's been my plus one for too many years, according to her, but she's put up with me. But thank her for all the shenanigans that we get into. Thank you for all that we do. If you know me, you know kids first. Glen Garden strong is what I've been telling people, because through this new school, through this new community, we need strong influences in the Glen Garden community. Just remember that. Glen Garden needs strong community influences.
Well, I echo the comments. Thank you so much for giving us the privilege to speak this afternoon. I'm currently serving as the vice president of our board. I've served 3 terms as the president. I'm 4-year terms as the legislative liaison. I'm a level 4 board member, on track to be level 5, which is the highest level you can attain. I'm currently the Northeast Tennessee District Director for the Tennessee School Board Association. And last year I earned the distinction of being an all Tennessee school board member. I don't tell you that to brag. I tell you that to let you know that I take this role very seriously. If I'm going to expect excellence out of our students, our staff, and our administrators and support staff, then I should expect the same thing out of me. I want to be the very best board member I can be because it matters. Education matters. My vision for education in Kingsport is such that every student feels uniquely valued, that they have a safe, fun, and equitable learning environment. They have access to a quality education regardless of their socioeconomic background. That we make sure that every student that walks across that graduation stage is prepared for their next steps, whether it's higher education, going and learning additional trade skills, or into a skilled working environment. Every child matters. I want to make sure we're paying our people appropriately, and I want to continue with extracurricular activities that provide those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, like performing on the stage in Carnegie Hall or internationally with a robotics competition. I do take this role very seriously. I'm Melissa Woods. I'm still committed to Kingsport, and I would be humbled and honored to have your vote. Thank you.
I want to give a huge thank you to our candidates. It's not easy to answer tough questions in front of a live audience. Agreed? To each of you, a warm thank you for your time, your passion for our students, and for your commitment to the future of the Kingsport City Schools. Ladies and gentlemen, please give our candidates a round of applause.